The second tip is to have a single point of contact in the company who is going to be the one that startups will approach, that partners, third parties that surrounds the company that would like to partner with the company would knock on this person's door, and this person will take them hand by hand to overcome all the bureaucracy in the fastest way in the green ride across the company. Because a startup cannot really knock on all the company doors. They have to have not at least one door, which is the one that behind this door there is one that this is his job or her job. Her job is to lead innovation, is to partner with these startups, is to make this startup meet the relevant ones in the company ASAP, in order to make a pilot, in order to partner, in order to invest, whatever your goal is. Update your challenges. Your challenges on December 1st, next week, are totally different from those last December. You probably agree with me. And the more you will reshuffle your challenges and share it with the ecosystem, the more relevant solutions will approach you. Because entrepreneurs they just need a challenge. They need something that this is going to be their goal for the next year or so. And when they know that you have a challenge, they know that you are a potential client for them. And they will start moving toward solving your challenge. So this is super important. Update your challenges and share it. Share it with the ecosystem. And you will be surprised to see how many solutions are out there that you were not thinking of. And this is good. This is okay. I mean, you know to run your business the best. And in many cases, you know, the daily activity takes our time. We don't have the time to really plan. These startups will help you to stay relevant. The fourth tip is to promote employees with the fear of missing out, FOMO syndrome, and fire all those employees that are motivated by ego, not invented here. You know, this type of people, get rid of them. These people risk the future of your company. And I will share with you a story from my experience. I was working for a small company, 20 employees, called Maxtech. We've been developing a specific mesh technology, a communication technology, and at the same time, another big Israeli company with over 10,000 employees have developed the same technology. They've been doing it, investing hundreds of millions of dollars, and we've been doing it with $20 million. You remember there was a group of teenagers in Thailand stuck in a cave a year or 2 years ago. And in order to reach these young people, there was a need to use this mesh technology. As a startup, we approached for years this 10,000 employees company, asked them to collaborate, asked them to do something together, to approach tenders together, to partner, to do whatever. No, but every time when we approached them, they told us, okay, we see that you've been doing really well, but we can do it by ourselves. And they've been investing tons of money, hired hundreds of employees. And at the end of the story is that in Thailand, when there was a need for such a technology, two devices were at the entrance of the cave, the one of Maxtech and the one of the big company. You know which one worked and which one didn't? The one that worked is of Maxtech, the small company. And the lesson here is clear, because you can imagine that the big company lost many tenders due to this case. So the lesson is to collaborate, is to be open for new ideas. And the fifth tip is exactly this, is to keep your mind open. When you meet a new technology, new startup, don't look for reasons why not to collaborate. Look for reasons why to collaborate, why to say yes. for such a collaboration. This is a change of a mindset, but this is critical. And when you're talking to startup, speak with them in their language. Reply to them fast. Be available 24/7 according to their experience, to their expectations, to what they really expect. They expect you as big company to work with them fast, and you can do it. The sixth tip is to treat startups as partners. Startups are not suppliers, they're partners of yours. Treat them with respect and treat them as partner. I can tell you that there are big companies that are paying startups immediately for pilots, not in 30, 60, 90 days, immediately. And this is thanks to the understanding that the startup is not the big corporate bank. So you have to pay them on time and as fast as you can. And when you do innovation, do it good, not for marketing purposes. Do it good. And the reason for that is because the ecosystem of technology, all the players, the startups, the VCs, and everyone are small communities. Everyone knows everyone. And there is no 6 degrees of separation. There is maximum 2 degrees of separation. And when you do right with startups, the rumor is going to spread really fast. And everyone would like to work with you after that. So, and this is what you want to do. And also allocate budget for that. And it's not a lot of money. Pilots are not costing a lot of money. Put some money for that. If you don't have money, don't make an innovation. But I tell you honestly, it's not a lot of money. It's really small portion out of your budget. And at the beginning, measure the innovation by the number of POCs, number of proof of concepts, not by ROI. Put your own challenge, your goal. Your goal should be as many people in your company should work at least with one startup. Run a pilot with at least one startup. This should be your goal. And you will see that this is going to change the DNA of the company. Suddenly, people are going to be much more open-minded for partnering with third parties. I must tell you that in 2020, the way to measure a good manager is not by the number of employees that this manager has, but the number of employees that report to this manager. This is not a good manager. A good manager is one that is running as many partnerships with third parties as possible. This is a good manager in 2020. You cannot develop internally what you need. Because if you develop it internally, it would cost you much more money, it would take you much more time, and at the end, you will develop something which is by far worse than alternatives that you could buy for pennies that are already out there on the shelf by startups, for example. So don't innovate internally. Just collaborate with others. This is really the best one, but the best way. And don't expect startups to give you equity for free for the benefit of working together. You want to get some equity, pay for that. That's so simple. No free meals, even here. And minimize bureaucracy. Startup cannot handle bureaucracy. This is a totally different type of people. They cannot handle bureaucracy. And do your best to minimize it. And I have a lot of experience with minimizing bureaucracy with the legal department, with the procurement, with the finance, with anyone that can be an obstacle. There are ways to make them be engaged to this important road. So this COVID-19 brought us a lot of opportunities to innovate. Take these opportunities and do it. I can share with you my methodology, which is very simple. When I meet a corporate, I first learn about their challenges. Then I provide them back with relevant solutions. They rank their interest in each and every solution. And then what we do, we create such a meeting, a meetup, or an innovation bootcamp. It can be physically or Zoom, it doesn't matter these days. And the agenda is 1 hour presentation from my end, something like what we've been doing in the last 40 minutes. And then the best startups that they were choosing are coming and presenting. And at the end of this innovation bootcamp, the audience, the company, the corporate people are choosing with which out of those startups that solve their challenges, they want to move forward. They want to move ahead. And this is really a super efficient way to start the innovation journey. So this was my presentation. I'm happy to take questions now and to have a conversation with you. I can see that we have now 20 more participants than when we started, so I hope that you found my presentation interesting. I'm willing, I'll be more than happy to share this presentation with you. You can approach me privately later on via LinkedIn, WhatsApp, email, whatever you want, on my website, and I will share with you. Because after 40 minutes where I'm trying to convince you to share and to partner, I cannot be in a position that I will not share my own presentation. So thank you very much. And now I'm all yours and happy to have a conversation with you. Richard, are you here?
Yes, Itai, I'm here. Maybe first of all, I want to thank you. It was very, very interesting, and this is, I guess, a topic that will become more and more important in the upcoming years. But I want to ask you a specific question, because we have a lot of medium-sized companies who are looking for ways to become more competitive through innovation. We usually look down the way of huge companies who have a lot of resources and also have R&D departments and stuff like that. But what about medium-sized companies? What is your experience? How can they connect to this methodology? How can they connect to the knowledge? Or more importantly, how can they connect to this startup ecosystem in Israel?
So when you're saying mid-size, how many employees?
I'm talking about let's say from 50 to maybe 500 employees, this medium-sized companies.
So first of all, the first tip is, of course, to move everything to the cloud. Because when you're working on a cloud, everything is much easier and cheaper. So this is one thing to do. And the other thing is that I think that when you're running a company with 500 employees, it's not small, and there is so many opportunities with working with those startups. I would definitely put some resources in looking into solutions for specific challenges that are from startups. For example, in the area of service, how to serve your clients. There are many solutions which are turning the service into much more relevant, personalized, faster, and cheaper than the current situation. And I think that the way to do it is really to attend as many meetups or presentations like this, is to share the challenges, is to have, let's say, a mid-sized company has a LinkedIn page. Share your challenges. Tell everyone what are your challenges, that you're looking for solutions, for technologies to improve X, Y, Z. And you will be surprised how many partners, potential partners, will approach you. And I think this is the way to start. And when the ecosystem knows that you're looking for solutions, they will come and approach you with such. And this is the way to start. And more, I'll be more than happy to share privately. I can see that we also have questions in the chat and the Q&A. So can you talk about more on retail innovation? Okay, so retail, first of all, everything is moving to the net. E-commerce is really growing, I think if one is not there, should be there. Everything is there, and there are really good technologies that are already really working well that you should adopt for a relatively low amount of money. And there is a lot of new technologies there around the supply of the products, around even technologies that help you to make more money out of any e-commerce visitor. I was showing you a map of the e-commerce, of the retail technologies in my presentation. I will share it with the one that has asked it, Sergio. So Sergio, you can message me later, and I will send you the presentation. You can get there at least to start of a list of startups to start with from different areas. Retail is definitely one of those areas that really changed the last 9 months significantly. So the physical retail and the e-commerce, of course. I didn't know, I'm reading, so if I understood you correct, it is as easy as contacting you with our area of interest. Am I correct? Yes, you're correct, Georgio Beitman. And Sabo is asking, thank you very much for the talk, definitely inspiring to change, thank you very much. Where should a small 100 companies that has men under the leadership vision of the CEO begin? How to open alliances? So again, even a small company, you have a huge opportunity because you're small. You don't have the bureaucracy. You just need to have an open mind. Bring young people, make them be open to new things, make them partner with others, make them create kind of brainstorms with them about ideas, kind of internal hackathons. Share with on your Facebook, LinkedIn pages, share that you're looking for technologies to improve. Show the world that you would like to perform better. And you will be surprised, you'll find so many. For mid-sized companies, there is a huge opportunity these days because you are much faster and flexible to adopt innovation. Much faster than big companies. So you can become the big companies really soon with adopting the right technologies. And it is super important to learn about the trends. I constantly say to my clients, there is a lot to learn from others. We don't know everything. You don't know everything. But around the world, there is a lot to learn. There are many industries. For example, if you're an insurance player, there is a lot to learn from China, for example, about the trends. So it is always good to open your mind and learn about new things out there. In the Q&A, we have a question. Thank you, Itai. I enjoyed it very much. Thank you. Please, could you repeat what is the meaning of FOMO? And yes, sure. FOMO, Margarita Heredia. So FOMO is people with the fear of missing out. Curious people that are looking into what's new out there, always looking for what's new out there, for new partners and so on. And the opposite are people with the NIH syndrome, not invented here. The one from the 10,000 employees company, we always approached him and he always say, oh no, I'm the smartest person around the world. It does make sense that you, small startup with 20 employees, will do better than I do. These are people with huge ego and they risk the future of your company. If you have people with ego, that ego motivates them, these people throw them away, give them a kick in the ass. Really, these people are really risking your future. I mean, I've seen so many people like that ruin companies, that this is catastrophe. How to choose a board that will put innovation of the company, that not just think in concept. Bring people from startups, bring people, entrepreneurs, bring people even from academy, bring people that understand the trends. It doesn't make sense. You know, I met last week a board member in a huge company in Israel. She's 70 years old. And she told me, my grandson knows better than I do where this world is moving. And I can tell you, even in Israel, last week there was a research that CEOs during the crisis were not consulting with their board. They didn't take their advice. They didn't ask for because they don't have an relevant experience to the challenges that this CEO is facing during this COVID-19 challenge, during this crisis. And I'm sure it's the same around the world. And the reason for that is the boards are not relevant. And if the people there are going to be relevant, the company will move in the right direction. And this is such a small, simple change. I highly recommend you do it tomorrow. How are you? Control, confidentiality, sharing strategic plans is risky, don't you think? Yes, it is risky, but the winner of 2020 are those that are executing fast, not those that are keeping confidential secrets of strategy. And big companies like Coca-Cola, like Facebook, like Google are sharing their challenges because they have the confidence that they will perform and execute better than their competitors. And this is a dilemma, but most of the companies are preferring to share their challenges rather than to keep it internally because they see that the value, the potential of partnering with others is by far higher than the confidentiality issue. And this is really the thing. I mean, don't put more resources into internal R&D. Everything is moving to outsource, and outsource with the best ones. And there are good startups, good partners out there that have already done what your R&D team are only dreaming upon. So do it. George asked Flegman, how can startups in Mexico can connect with the startups in Israel and bring their technology to topicalized? So listen, Israeli startups would love to work with you. So they are eager for that. And the way is really to find one that will find you the best, most relevant startups and start bringing startups. But again, it's not enough to scout for the good solutions. It is also important that internally you will have the internal change of your DNA of the company. So people will be, and your company would be open to work with those startups and to work with them fast. This is super important. Thank you, Margarita. Thank you, Margarita, for your comment. And yes, if there are more questions, I'm here to answer. Could you explain why it's better to develop external than internal? Yes, Fernando, this is a good question, and the answer is this. The world is moving super fast, and it is accelerating. Everything changed really fast. I showed you the slide that for the telephone of Graham Bell, it took 75 years to reach 50 million users, and for a good app, it takes weeks. And the reason for that is technology allows that. So there are many, many entrepreneurs outside your companies that have already done what you only dream upon. And for you internally to develop it will take a lot of resources and a lot of time. And time is an issue. And you would like to be relevant. You can't allow yourself to bring the market a new service or a new product in a year or two from now. You want to have it now. And if you want to have it now, and there is already on the shelf, someone has developed it, take it. Someone else paid for that, invested on that. Someone else put the resources. Someone else has done all the way. So do it, partner with them. Otherwise, you will do it internally. It would cost you more money, and you will be in the market in a delay. And I'll give you an example. One of my clients, when I started working with, has approached a startup, and the startup, the big company has asked the startup for the benefit of collaborating to get 25% of the shares of the startup for free. And the startup has rejected to this offer and went to the competitor. In 3 months, the competitor had a fantastic service, new product to their client. And my client had to develop it internally. He had to invest $5 million. It took him 3 years to develop it. And the competitor already had this product for 3 years, already made money and invested by far less than $5 million. And my client was irrelevant. So this is just one example of why really to push external innovation rather than internal. There are many more examples, and I'd be more than happy to speak with you later on, Fernando. Have I missed any other chat questions? Let me see. Yes, there are more questions here. Thanks a lot. Could you share this Zoom session recording? Many members of the board need to listen to you. I think this is, yes, I think it is recorded. I think Richard would be able to share it. So this is my answer to Sabo. And Jose Eduardo, hola Sabo. Oh, this is in Spanish, so I can't read it. So, so it's probably not for me. What else? Are there any other questions here? Richard, do you have any more questions? I have a question. Do you think that organizations need to extend?
Yes, in Q&A, Itai, there's still 2 more questions.
Yes, see, Andrea is Morgia. Thank you, Itai. I have a question. Do you think that organizations need an external team to manage the open innovation strategy? If so, who do you recommend in Latin America? In addition, I would like to ask what is the best methodology for the execution of these strategies? So it is really difficult to answer with regard to the strategy, but I can tell you, no, it is not a must to have an external team. You can have an internal team. Nominate an innovation manager, one that would be in charge of the innovation, and choose one that is the best people person in the company, the one that would be able to run innovation internally between the people, between the civil, to engage them, to engage people, to make them partner with the startups. So this is really the type of person that you need. All the rest, he or she can learn, but they have to be really good people person. About sharing your experience on corporate venturing. I am from Innovate, Mid-American Open Innovation Team, and definitely we have learned and improved in so much in the side. So also, thank you. What else are in Mexico? I'm not having internet. Yes, so this is a question from George Schmidt about a startup in Mexico. So again, I think that the way for you to approach the market is to share on social networks what you're doing, is to knock on doors of big corporations and explain them what's the value that you bring, because they need you, definitely need you. You are in the right spot. Martin is asking, do you see relevant to know the innovation entrepreneurship ecosystem of the own region in order to take advantages? No, not at all, not at all. And the challenge is not really to find the relevant startups. The main challenge is to change the internal DNA. So the internal DNA will be a magnet for startup. This is the real challenge of open innovation. And this is the challenge of 536 multinationals in Israel. So this is why there is so much experience around it. Thank you for presenting. Where to share our goals for help? On social networks. Share it on social networks. This is really helping on social networks around startup ecosystems and all this. We are in the gas station business. Okay, gas station business. There is a lot going on there. A lot of innovation out there to make everything DIY, clients to really save money on employees and to sell more products. So there is a lot to do there. What about international sourcing? Is there a way to accelerate international sourcing from? Yes, of course. I mean, nowadays, again, to find the startups, it's not the challenge. It's not a real challenge. It's relatively easy. Most of the innovation consultants should know to find relevant, good startups. The challenge is to make your companies being able to integrate those new technologies. This is the change. And this has to come from the board and from the top management. And we have to educate them and to show them many startups so they would know that if they will miss, they will lose their chair, they will lose their business. That's all I think, right? I hope that I've answered all the questions. At least I was trying. Richard, have I missed something?
There are a few questions still coming in on the chat.
Okay.
I guess
that. This is in Spanish. I'm a coordinator. Just a second. I'm co-founder of a startup representing mining technology, able to integrate into multiple industries. We recommend pitching the startup focused on one industry, such as hemp and other agriculture, or speak about all it is completed to funders with sense too good to be true feeling from others. I think it depends. If it's a startup in their pre-seed seed, then you should look for a few industries and look for the one that there is most interest. And look for the one where you can get a first paying client, and then focus on that. Actually, many great entrepreneurs are developing amazing technologies, but their challenge is to find the first client, to find whether there is a need in the market. So this is exactly what you should do. And there are many technologies that can be relevant to many industries. And the one where you find clients is the one where it is right for you to work. Lilia Diaz is asking any advice on how to deal with corporate directors agreed to own these external ideas at the very beginning. So I think that the way is to make them a kind of education session, tell them about the trends, what's going on around the world, make them understand that if they want not to end up like Nokia and its friends, they have to innovate. And 2020 is really a kind of signal for everyone that everything changed that fast. Those that will not change will not be with us. I'm sorry for being that sharp, but this is reality. There's no other way to tell it. So your clients, your employees are expecting you to make the change. Your shareholders are expecting you to be relevant. The only way to be relevant is to innovate, is to adopt innovation. And open innovation is the fastest methodology with the best ROI and cheapest one to make it. So make it. Many have done it successfully. I don't see any reason why you shouldn't do it with the same level of success.
Okay, Itai, I guess we will start to wrap up the session. Thank you so much again, Itai. Just some closing words. Some have asked if the recording will be available. The answer is yes. I will share again my screen. Just give me a second. If you want the recording to be available for you, please go to app.su.org and become a member of Singularity, and also become a member either of the chapter Puebla, Chihuahua, or El Paso. you will find them under groups, and we will see a way that you can find the link to the recording under either one of these 3 chapters. And well, don't miss out on this opportunity. I guess it was very, very insightful what Itai shared with us today. And if you want to keep in touch with us, we will host many events in the future of this kind, and also hopefully with Itai, also more events next year. So please keep in touch with us. And well, one of our leadership members is also mentioning that you will receive an invitation directly to your email on how to become a chapter member. So we can also be in direct contact with you. So once again, thank you all for assisting to this event. Thank you again, Itai, for your insights and the very, very interesting content. And well, that's it from our side. I don't know, Eduardo or Carlos, if you want to add something at this moment.
Well, not really, Richard. Just want to thank Itai. It was very interesting approach and exposition, and thank you everyone that participate. And I hope this was you can take a lot of to your companies on regarding these subjects. And thank you for sharing, Itai. Thank you, Richard, for the organization of this event, and that's it.
Thank you very, very much.
Also, guys, I want to thank you guys for the effort. Itai, thank you for the presentation, and guys, thank you for being part of this community and being part of this effort to help you, inspire and educate you in some ways to be the better versions of ourselves. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope you can join us with the Singularity app. We have 3 different chapters. You can join the 3 of them or just one of them, but just make the next action to move the needle and succeed. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Itai. We will be in touch with you for some additional questions. And thank you again so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for your time. Bye-bye from Israel.
Bye-bye. Have a great
day. Thank you.